Hello to my YouTube army. Welcome back to another explanation of a project that I did. So, I just want to start off by saying that this video, at least for today, I'm going to be tackling and showing you guys the behind the scenes of my codes and the data analysis process that I did. I'll walk you through my thought process, the codes, and the challenges that I faced and how I tackled them while working on the project with, and as a matter of fact, real world financial data. So, before I do that, I actually do want to show you guys the data set that I was using. And I'm not going to go through my downloads because I don't want to expose everything, but it can be found right here. So this is the data set that I was using, and as you guys can tell, it is a lot of data. And for this little overview of the project involved building an anomaly detection system that serves as an early warning mechanism for identifying potential financial market crashes. So, example of financial market crashes was in 2020 with the COVID, 2008, Great Depression, and examples as such. So, there were three milestones, which was developing anomaly detection model using this data set. And then the second one was to enhance the system by proposing a data driven investment strategy. And third one, final one, was to design and integrate an AI driven bot that could actually explain what's going on. So let's dive right in. As I mentioned before, main goal was to analyze financial data sets, clean it, perform some data transformation for further use, in which I did. And I wanted to create a new column labeled Y, which would act as a target variable for later analysis or modeling. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. So once we start here, just a couple imports and loading the data set that I had in my computer. And I was examining the data set, making sure that everything was imported correctly. I loaded the data set into a pandas, a PD data frame, and just I took a quick look using dataframe.head or df.head, and I noticed that there were a few rows that contained metadata which wasn't a part of the actual data itself. So I had lots and lots of problem with the Y part right here. So to debug the Y column issue, so what I did was I tried to access a column named Y using data frame Y, as you guys can see here, but I ran into a key error that happens when you try to access a column that doesn't exist in the dataset. Although it did, it just wasn't showing, for me at least, is what I believe. So this error was actually a good reminder to always double check the column names before accessing them. So to walk through how I printed out the column names, I just use print dataframe.columns, and it printed out every single column, as you guys can see, dataframe.columns. And wait, where is it? I printed out dataframe.columns, and I probably just took it out, but printed dataframe.columns just to see what the columns were and where what I can access and what I can't. So I stripped the unwanted spaces and adjusted the header rows using the header parameters in pd.read.csv. So carrying on, I wanted to clean a little bit the data set. So the next step that I did was I focused on the cleaning part, as I mentioned. So for the first few rows, it didn't really contain actual data. So I used the slicing to skip them and also checked for rows and columns with missing values and handled them accordingly. So I used drop NA right here, dataframe.dropNA, or slicing, but I use drop NA. And resetting the index for a cleaner was actually very important as well. And if we go down to my reset, which was I think above this, or maybe I just took it out once again. Silly mistakes. But I did reset the cleaner with df dot reset underscore index, and in brackets drop equals true. So the next step, the next segment was to actually create the y itself, create or derive, if you will, the y itself. But I'm not gonna get too much into that. But the challenges and lessons that I learned from this were very extreme. So a big takeaway for me was understanding how crucial it is to actually explore the data thoroughly before actually writing your code. Because if we're going into this blind, there are kind of a lot of rows that are not using or not doing anything. So it's very important to familiarize yourself what you're actually doing and what you're actually using before you even begin the process. And that gave me my key error, and it taught me to double check and not assume what I'm doing, but you know, check whether a column actually exists or if the data set is properly formatted, or if I need to do some more formatting and some more editing to it. So, a practical advice that I would give you guys is anyone working with a data set, don't panic when you guys encounter errors. Use them as an opportunity to learn more about your data itself and to refine your process. And I would also tell you to take advantage of tools like pandas. It really helped me out to clean and manipulate my data efficiently. So those are two kind of advices that I have for you guys. But if I carry on with the code explanation, the rest is relatively simple. That was just me handling the data back there, but now is just me displaying it and actually trying to use machine learning to predict from sklearn models to make predictions. So I'm splitting the data frame into the testing and training, and the rest is very akin to the first project, which was the customer churn prediction. And it was just splitting the data and engineering it in a way that you would actually do a prediction, as I mentioned, and check the scores and the prediction scores. So obviously this one wasn't too good. So what I wanted to do was improve the model, and I put that here, improve the model. And that's what the main focus was on the project after that. And if you guys would like to learn how to actually improve the model itself using stuff like linear regression or other methods, then you can check out this was giving me an error, but it's showing an error, but it didn't actually give me an error, unfortunately, or fortunately, let me say that. But if you guys would actually like to learn the precision part and the machine learning part, I would suggest going to my first video. But as I said, I'm going to spare you guys from all the boring talking. This was just me refining the data, refining the machine learning model to try and get the most accurate and most pleasable outcome. And this is just me visualizing the data here, just so I can actually understand, and hence my advice to actually visualize your data and know what you're working with, so that I knew what I was doing. So this is a correlation matrix here, and it's just, once again, just visualizing the data, printing out the matrix itself, and the rest was pretty much just refining the machine learning model so that I can get the best precision and the best scores possible to actually get results that I can trust. And it wasn't just a 71% accuracy. So this is the back end part, I would say. The front end part I have yet to do, obviously, because I'm struggling with it, but it is definitely something on my to-do list and is definitely something that I'm working on. But I'm just having problems kind of passing it through. And as for the AI agent itself, the AI agent did work, and I didn't have any prompts here because I did it on another API, or not another API, sorry, another coding platform. And the part that I'm struggling with the most right now would be the front end stuff. But the back end stuff, I can successfully say that it worked out and it was pretty good, and it was hard, but it was worth it.